Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mr. M on Motors, and today I'm going to be reviewing this car. It's the Fiat Uno from 1992. This is my dad's car that he purchased in 1996. He purchased it when it was 4 years old. And today we're going to be having a look at the exterior, the interior, and then we're going to take out the road and see what it's like to drive. So as you can see here, you've got the classic sort of design from the 90s, especially the early 90s, coming out of the 80s with the more squarish shapes, but you know, we've kept that design element here to some sort of degree. We've got some design elements on the top there, as you can see, just on the bonnet. They're coming down, they're swooping down to this very simplistic grille with the logo that they had back then. But then, as you can see, we've still kept the original the design element, shall we say. So it's still sort of rectangle block sort of headlamps with the side indicators there, and then, you know, just a conservative black bumper that is being used. So it's a nice inviting sort of front. I think the design is very simplistic, and that was pretty much what was going on back in those days. In this car is a 1 litre petrol engine, just a basic 1 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, and it's got 45 horsepower. So yeah, there's not much really that we can expect from that, I can already tell you, but you know, it's adequate for the drive anyway, which we're going to be doing later on. This is the side of the car, everybody. As you can see, you get more of an idea of what the design language is from that sort of early 90s. So we're coming out of the 80s and we're going into the early 90s. As you can see, it's quite a boxy shape. Now that promises some really good space inside, and actually it is very spacious inside for this sort of hatchback. And this sort of hatchback is the subcompact hatchback, so it's not the big hatchbacks, but it sort of sits in between. So like the Ford Fiesta and sort of like, you know, the Volkswagen Polo sort of cars. And what we got here is 13-inch wheels. Now this is just normal steel rims, and that should help with the ride comfort, the ride quality. So it's a 3-door version. You can get this, well, you could back in those days get it in a 5-door version, and my uncle actually had one which was exactly the same. It had 5 doors, so the practicality of having 5 doors was even better. We've got the fire sticker, emblem, whatever you want to call it. They're just stickers really, but yeah, that just emphasizing that, you know, this had the has the fire engine, the 1 litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, and it was the one that's meant to be more economical. Everybody, this is the rear of the Fiat Uno, the car that we're reviewing today, and it's got quite a flat sort of side going down. Let me show you quickly in this angle, as you can see. Now we're going to see how that looks like inside, but I can already tell you it's actually not a bad boot. Quite a lot of space in there actually for what it is. At the back here we've got these sort of squarish sort of, again, design on the headlamps. You've got the Fiat logo there. Very good condition actually for the age. And then just so that you actually know it's a Fiat Uno, you've got the actual Uno logo there as well. And then just obviously the standard bumper that goes around the back. The car itself has been kept in the basement for the last sort of 30 years, so it hasn't really, should we say, got any or had any bad weather affecting the bodywork. So the bodywork itself is in really, really good condition. There is these scratches and the chips and all that, but in terms of actual, you know, rust, zero, which is really good. It's a well-kept car for its age. Well, let me know anyway. Well, let me know what you think of the exterior, and we'll be now popping into the interior. This is the key, and you're going to need that key. The reason why is because, yes, you can only access the car by putting the key in and turning either left or right, open or close. No central lock in here, my friends. Let's have a look inside. And that's what you're greeted with. You can see, nice cabin, very basic, very, you know, straightforward, but minimalistic. That's where we're going again with the design language of even the modern cars. Now look at that, you've got a lever there to open and close your windows. Not convenient these days, it's all automatic, but back then that's what was going. Although you did have cars with auto windows already, but that's mainly the premium manufacturers that did that. There is a storage pocket here though, which you know, you can put some stuff in there, which is good. Not massive. Let's now pop in the cabin. Now I do apologise, the car's not very clean inside. I've cleaned the mats the best I can, but it does need a really good detailing. Massive steering wheel, okay, that's the first thing that you'll notice when you're driving this car. Massive steering wheel, no buttons, none of that, just a basic steering wheel. No power steering either, just a horn in the middle. That's what you get. You've got your controls to your side there, like your light switch, your indicator, and I'm not sure what this side is actually. What's on this side? Oh, and then you've got your windscreen wipers there. And then over here, very basic, you've got your fuel gauge in the corner, your speedometer, how much mileage you've done, and then I'm not sure what that's just, you know, when you water temperature, I think. And then at the bottom there, you've got all your buttons. You've got your hazard button there when you put your hazards on. That's it really. Over here, again, you've got some controls. You've got your heating system, your vents, literally 2 levels of heating. Not much really going on. And then here you've got some buttons. You got your rear wiper, you've got your defroster at the back, and then you've also got your was it fog lights, I think? Yeah, fog lights. So you can put fog lights on this car. In this gap here, you can put a digital clock. My uncle had this on his one. This one hasn't got it, but you can get that fitted in. There's some storage space at the top there that you can, you know, put your bag or some documents or, you know, some things. So that's not bad in terms of storage, which is good. And down below here, you've got your, what would be your space for your radio. We haven't got one in at the moment, but hopefully we can get one put in at some point. And there's nothing, that's it. At the bottom there's just empty space, which is really good because it feels quite airy here, which is nice. You've got this massive long gear lever, 5-speed. Forgot to mention that earlier. This is a 5-speed manual transmission. Of other practicality, you've got this glove box in front of the passenger seat. You just have to click that, and then that's what you get. So it's not a bad space actually. There was a lot of stuff crammed in here that I had to take out to show you the actual space that you get. There's no light in there, there's no USB sockets or any of that stuff, so forget all that connectivity. But anyway, it's something that you can use to put something in there as a glove box really should be used for. So that's good in terms of practicality. There's a little hidden compartment. Now, as you can see, that line there looks the same, but then when you open that up, there you go. You've got some storage in here. This is an ashtray that got some stuff in there. Now you can put some coins or whatever, like we've used it for. And then here's your 12-volt socket, or your cigarette lighter, as they would have had back in the 90s. So that's a little hidden compartment, but very useful and actually vital, because that means that you could connect your GPS if you wanted to use it for that. Now going to be going into the rear of the Fiat Uno to see what that looks like. Already looks quite promising in terms of visibility with that big window there. Going to the back, literally that's all you got to do. It actually shows you there. You pull that lever up, the seat goes forward. Now the seat at the moment is the furthest position backwards, so if you're a shorter driver, you would have more room at the back. I'm going to go in here. And it's actually not too bad. It's actually better than most modern cars, you know, to get into the back of here. And once you're here, I mean, look, this is the furthest that the driver's seat goes. So someone who's really tall. And as you can see, just about, I mean, my legs are going in, but they've designed it that you can, you know, still have plenty of room at the back here, even with a tall driver driving. I'm just going to put that there because just give you, as you know, what it looks like from this point of view. So let's jump over. So look at that. I mean, there's loads of inches of room in here, so plenty of room for, you know, the average family. In terms of headroom, I mean, at the back here, I've got probably about that much, so a couple of inches. It's even better at the front. In terms of practicalities, not much going, unfortunately. There's nothing here in terms of storage or rest, you know, armrest. What do you get in the central part? Nothing. You just get this little ashtray, which you can use it for other things. One thing I do want to show you though is the visibility. So if we just pop the seat back and then get inside, as you can see there, that's the windscreen. Not bad. A-pillars there. Again, that's really good, because with a lot of the modern cars, this A-pillar always sort of blocks your view. And so this design that they had back then, you know, tried to use as much glass. And here we can really see, you know, look at this. The use of glass is absolutely amazing, you know. Massive windows. You can really see what's going on around you. The only problem is there is quite a small side wing mirror, but other than that, it's really good, because, you know, even your blind spot, you know, you can sort of see what's going on behind you there. Talking about the rear, if we turn ourselves round, look at that massive window at the back again. If you've got the 5-door version, or whoever had the 5-door version, there was a separate glass towards the C-pillar at the back. So again, it was still very good in terms of visibility. On this 3-door version, it's absolutely amazing. It's actually excellent. And then at the back there, you've got, look at this massive rear windscreen, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, again, because of the square design, you can see what's going on there from a low perspective, but even a high perspective. Now we're going to have a look at the boot of the Fiat Uno. Now, first thing that strikes me is actually how low this is. In real life, it is really low, which is really good for loading stuff that's heavy, because, you know, you don't have to work too much. It's quite a square opening as well, as you can see. This is what I love about these sort of cars, is they didn't put too much plastic or too much, you know, things that you didn't need that compromises the space. The only thing you've got here to make it completely flat is obviously the shape where you've got the rear lights. But other than that, inside, it's a really good usable space. I don't actually know how much litres in terms of you know, cubic litres this has, but I think it's probably between 250 to 270 litres of cargo space. So it sits in that subcompact hatchback range. Not too big, not too small, just in the middle. Okay everybody, this is the maximum load capacity that you get in the Fiat Uno from 1992, and as you can see here, it's absolutely massive. Flipping those seats forward, you get this space in here. I'm not sure how much we've got here, probably at least 1,000 litres of space, possibly even more than that. What you have to do, you unhook these hinges, and that releases the backrest. There's then a couple more hinges that releases the seat base. So it's a very different way of doing it compared to today's car, where you've got this split folding and you know, different configuration of how you flip the seats forward. Many cars have this setup, but it works, and the reason why it works is because it's all flat from literally the boot lip, or the boot, you know, the base, going all the way to where those seats end, and that provides you with a nice even space to put things so they're not falling on top of each other. So really good practical space, and you know, I think they've done a really good job in providing you the maximum for this sort of size. Okay everyone, welcome to the drive part of the video. We're going to take the Fiat Uno for a short drive around these lovely mountain roads. It's a lovely sunny day, and we're going to have a look at the handling, the power, and how it drives in general. It's not too bad. Quite a light steering wheel, I must say. It's only if you're doing short-term maneuvers, like, you know, in a parking or something, that it's quite stiff. But it's not, there's no power steering, so you can expect that. This is a beautiful road we're on at the moment. They've redone the tarmac and you can really enjoy the car. 4th gear now, 60 kilometers an hour. I'm going to go around this corner. Not too bad. One thing I have noticed is there's not much feel in the steering wheel, so it's not really sporty, I must say. There's 2 of us in the car at the moment, and in terms of power, it's doing all right. It's doing all right. A little bit of body roll, I must say, but other than that, the car's behaving all right with only 2 of us in here. We have been in this car with 4 people, and it does struggle a little bit, I must say. 3rd gear around the corner. Oh, blimey! Yeah, the body roll at speed is there. So we're going up a little bit of a gradient at the moment, and it is doing it all right. But, you know, 45 horsepower, you know, it's going to have its limitations. In 3rd gear at the moment, 60 kilometers an hour. And now we are really struggling a little bit. You really have to work this car, unfortunately. So it's all right for the flat and where it's not too hilly, but if you go to the mountains or somewhere where it's got more inclines, you can definitely see the lack of power. But this fire engine is really economical. I think averagely here we're going to get probably about 45 miles per the gallon. They're not too bad in terms of fuel economy, just as well because the fuel price is quite expensive here. Roughly about what, €1.70? Is that right, Dad? That was a yes anyway. Right, I'm going to approach a roundabout now. We're going to go round the roundabout, come back on this road. And this is where I'm really going to have a look at this handling. Into 3rd gear. Shift it into 2nd. Let's go round the roundabout. Oh, blimey. Oh, blimey. You can't do this with speed, everyone. This car is rolling around. Someone's overtaken me as well. So yeah, you can't push this car too much, everyone. Otherwise, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. But the steering's light, you know, the steering's light, and you can enjoy the car as long as you're not doing too much crazy maneuvers. In terms of comfort, I've got to say the seats are really cushioned well. There's a nice feel to the seats, so comfort's very good. Bolsters are nice because it sort of hugs you in. Not everyone's, you know, going to be happy with that because some people like more room and not be too caged in, but I think for the average person it's well. Visibility, absolutely amazing. I mean, you can see everything around here. There's loads of visibility, so from that perspective it's good. So you have to work the car a little bit in order for it to get going, but this 1 litre engine is actually quite nice to you know, to hear, because there's not much sound insulation in here, so you really feel part of the car with this mechanical sort of driving. So yeah, the Fiat Uno is not a sporty car that you can chuck around the corners and enjoy the speed and performance, but it is a car that will get you from A to B, and you know, with this lovely light steering, it does provide some fun apart from the body roll. In terms of long distance cruising, the car's actually not too bad. You could probably do up to 60, 70 miles an hour, and the car will basically just plod along. Top speed here, my friends, 90 miles an hour. So yeah, not performance based, but what'd you expect? It's 1 litre car, so it's not too bad. However though, the 0 to 60, 17 seconds, so don't expect anything too flamboyant. Do sometimes feel a lot of road bumps in here, quality, things like that in terms of the suspension, 50-50, but I think the suspension actually probably does need changing in this car. It's 30 years old, by the way, so those sort of things eventually do need changing. It could be the bushes, it could be a lot of other things. So far on this straight, it's not too bad. Depends on the road surface as well. If the road surface is good, not too bad. For no mod cons and no power steering and all that, it's easy to drive, I must say. It's quite easy to drive. You've got to work it a little bit though, because it's only the 1 litre engine, but you can get a turbo version of this, and if you get one of them, then the whole game changes. You do hear a lot in here, which in a way is nice, because especially the engine, because you can actually hear that engine. Cars now are so refined in terms of sound insulation that you can't actually hear the engine, but here you can, which is really good. I'm not sure though if that's good on a long journey. Everything now is all uphill, sort of gradient is going up, so this is where we're going to be looking at the performance of the car. Not too bad at the moment because it's relatively flat, and if you get a good run up, you can actually get some good momentum. So it has a 5-speed manual gearbox, which is actually quite good, because on the motorway you definitely would need the 5th gear. So we're going up gradient now. We're starting to go up the gradient, keeping the speed as much as I can in 4th gear. Facing the gradient now. So if you carry the speed from the bottom, you should be alright. You won't tire the engine too out. But as we're getting further and further up this gradient, the engine's starting to work a little bit now. Might have to shift it down a little bit. Absolutely boiling in here. I mean, in the summertime, this car is terrible. There's no air conditioning in here, my friends, so it's not a nice place to be in. So you have to wind all the windows down and just go for a short drive or short journey, because anything too long absolutely kill you. We're in the month of February, and it's been 50-50, cold nights, cold days, but today the sun's out, 14 degrees. It's a lovely drive down these country roads here. Part of the comfort side of it is because of those also small rims, 13-inch rims, and quite a very soft suspension, because the body roll on this car is massive. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this review on the Fiat Uno, the 1 litre 4-cylinder engine from 1992. I've enjoyed driving this car the time I've been here. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.